Greetings and welcome to another episode of Trippy Food and another installment of Viewer's Choice. Today we're going to be doing something that was suggested by our subscriber Miguel Rangel, and he said, Val, you should try doing beans on toast. I'm sure Jack, Snackhead Cowboy, Abe Simpson, some of our other subscribers that are from the UK, I'm sure they're looking at this and going, Val, it's not interesting. We eat that all the time. That's true. That's very true. However, it's not an American thing, and so what I like to do on this show is I like to show things, even that culturally that's something that they do somewhere else that I think people would find interesting, in other places, in all kinds of other places. I mean, maybe this would be interesting in Japan. Who really knows? But anyways, it was a viewer request by Miguel Rangel, and we decided we're going to do beans on toast. Now, the first thing that most people think when they see a can of beans is baked beans, right? I mean, that's what you think, baked beans. But most canned beans are not baked, they're actually steamed. So if you actually look on the label, it does not say baked anywhere on the label. It says Heinz beans with tomato sauce. And typically white beans that are steamed and then canned. Now, Heinz is an American company, or was originally an American company, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and their beans are extremely popular in the UK. And so we bought the UK Heinz beans, which are really popular. Now, another thing is that people used to call these is pork and beans. Now, to be fair, sometimes when you open this can up, there was like a little piece of pork fat in there to add fat to it. And so you'll find that little piece of pork fat in there, and they called it pork and beans. Typically, they don't use pork so much anymore. They really stopped doing that after World War II. So that when pork was being rationed, they kind of stopped putting pork in the beans. So now it's just beans. So two very simple ingredients to this dish: beans and bread for toast. So we're going to toast the bread and heat up the beans. Now what they say is that you don't want to bring the beans to a boil because it changes the flavor of the beans. So you're going to heat them up till they're warm. We're going to put it on toast. We're going to come back and we're going to enjoy that. Now, the history of beans is beans go way back. They were eating beans in Europe in medieval times. But as far as being commercially mass-produced, the first company to do that was, in fact, H.J. Heinz. And H.J. Heinz started in 1895 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you go there, the original factory is still there. I've actually been to it. You get a little pickle pin when you go in. It's kind of cute. Heinz was the first company who also sold canned beans outside of the United States. So they sold to other companies, and they started selling to the UK in 1901, and they were very expensive. And so at the time when baked beans first started being sold in the UK, they were considered a luxury item because they were very expensive. Now, how the beans and toast thing came about? So in the 1920s, an executive at Heinz decided, hey, we could sell more beans if we make this national dish. And so what they did was they just kind of put their heads together and said, well, what could we come up with? It's going to be easy, quick, simple. And they came up with beans on toast. And so this, again, was the 1920s, and the idea stuck, and it became popular. And now it's like, it's a thing. They eat a lot of beans in the UK. If you've ever had a full English breakfast, you've noticed baked beans on the... No, I'm sorry. Don't mean to say baked beans. Beans on the plate. Speaking of baked beans, though, if you've ever been to Boston, Boston is famous for their Boston baked beans. It's a completely different thing. So those are usually are baked, and they put a bunch of other things in it. They put sometimes molasses, brown sugar, a bunch of different things in it. And then there's this crock pot. It's kind of like this shape. It's called a bean pot specifically for that, and they are actually baked in the oven. But typically you're not going to find them in most restaurants. You will find them in restaurants in Massachusetts. Some restaurants in Massachusetts, they'll sell baked beans, and they are actually baked beans. Everything else, steamed beans out of can. So I know this isn't exciting. I know you don't want to watch me empty this tin into a pot on the stove and heat these up, and you don't want to watch me make toast, right? So I'm going to go do that. I will be back in about 5 minutes, and we are going to enjoy, British style, we're going to enjoy our beans on toast. Be right back. All right, that was pretty easy. So we're pretty much done. It's just beans on toast. I mean, nothing difficult there. Now, the reason I have two pieces of toast here, one with the beans on and one without the beans on, is because I want to show you what a perfect slice of toast looks like. Look at that. Perfect color. That's where you want it. You don't want it where you're scraping off the carbon, and you also don't want it to look like it just came out of the package. So, perfect slice of toast. Now, what you have to do is, if you want to try this the way the British eat it, maybe, like sometimes they sprinkle parsley on it, sometimes they serve it with a runny egg. You can do either one of those things. But, try to fight the urge when you're heating up the beans on the stove to put in, like, some ketchup or some brown sugar or, honey or molasses or anything like that. Bacon, pork, try to fight that urge, because this is pretty much how it is. And so you can see where this would be like, you could serve this for breakfast, lunch, and or dinner, right? I wouldn't want to eat it all the time. It'd be like that scene from Blazing Saddles. All right, here we go. The idea is knife and fork. And Jack, I hope you're watching, and you're going to have to correct me on this. Like, the British way to eat that is you don't put down the knife, you don't put down the fork, you just do everything. You never even change hands with it. You just leave everything as is. Kind of eat it like that. That's a new thing for me, but like I said, we want to be authentic. So here we go. Doesn't get more basic than that. And again, you do knife and fork it. Now, I know, like, some of you New Yorkers out there, you're thinking like,
thank God that ain't a pizza. I'd break his neck.
You would never want to eat a pizza like that, knife and fork. Sacrilege. I think I sounded like Tiny Val when I did that. That's satisfying. It's simple, warming, comfort food. I mean, really, there's no two ways about it. It's just, like I said, it's just a basic, simple, comfort food. It's not gourmet. There's nothing outstanding about it. It just, it just does the trick. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I mean, maybe not an enthusiastic thumbs up, because I'd want to have to compare flavor, like how good is it? Is it good as other? Again, I have to fight the urge to put other stuff in it when I'm preparing the beans, or use some sort of artisanal bread for the toast. Just plain white bread, the beans and everything. It's pretty simple. So I could see, especially if you grew up eating this where this would be a comfort food and make you feel good inside eating this song, and outside later on. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. There's just it's basic, it's simple. And Miguel Rangel, thank you for suggesting this. If you out there, I'm talking to you. If you want to see us do something that you come up with, or something that you suggest, and it's attainable. I mean, I don't know if we could do actual Kazu Marzu, because we'd have to fly to Sardinia and get it, and God knows, they'll never let us back into the country with it. But if you have some suggestion, it can be kind of crazy too. We've done kind of crazy ones, and we've got some crazy ones coming up. So if you want to suggest something, go to our main YouTube channel page, go to the community tab, and under the community tab, you'll see a post called Suggestion Box. So just put it in there. If we use your suggestion, we'll give you a big shout out, like we did with Miguel Rangel. So give this a shot. In the U.S., you can find Heinz. You can find British Heinz beans. I think some of the larger grocery stores that have a lot of international foods will have it, but definitely Cost Plus World Market will have it. But when you do get out there to get it, just remember that it's crazy out there. So please be careful. Take care of yourselves. Take care of others, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for checking out Trippy Food. If you enjoyed watching that video half as much as I did making it, well then I enjoyed it twice as much as you did. And if that's the case, you'll probably like this video right here. And if not, check out this video right here. That one's a little bit different. Either way, leave a comment down below. And be sure to subscribe by clicking on the Trippy Food icon right here. Glad you could make it, and we hope to see you again soon.